For this video tutorial, I am going to demonstrate a typical fill using Akzentz Classic UV gels with a design using Luxio Gel Polish. I'm starting off with the prep and removal of gel polish, shortening and rebalancing the nails, and prepping the cuticle area for a fill. Many nail techs have a problem with time management. It is important to have a system and follow through for each nail, not only for timing, but also for consistency and shape. I am very experienced with using an electric file, so I'll be using the e-file for the entire demonstration to show you how it can be used to save time. If you have not been trained or inexperienced using an e-file, please use a hand file until you become proficient. I'm starting off using a carbide bit. It is a medium grit, and the reason I'm using a carbide bit is because it shaves off the product rather than sanding it off. I don't remove all of the product, and I pay special attention around the cuticle area because I don't like to get too close to the natural nail with this bit. So I just quickly remove the color. Because I'm doing a fill, I have a barrier of gel already in between the color and the nail, protecting the nail from the bit. The reason I started off with the carbide bit is because when you're shaving off the product, the carbide bit has teeth on it. So this prevents friction. A sanding band sands off the product, causing friction and heat. And this is what many nail techs don't realize. They can save a lot of time by using a carbide bit. You just want to always make sure that your clients are comfortable during the entire fill and you're careful near the natural nail. Once I've removed the majority of the color with the carbide bit, I'll switch over to a medium sanding band. Always use a very light touch. I have a foot pedal on my drill, so I can adjust my speed anywhere from medium high to medium low as I get closer to the natural nail and cuticle. For most of the tutorials, I only demonstrate on 2 or 3 nails. However, for this tutorial, I'm going to include all 5 nails of the prep so that you can see the system I use. And you will notice my entire polish removal, rebalance, and shaping for the entire hand takes less than 7 minutes to complete. Always be very careful when using an e-file, and always stabilize your hand. If you notice, I'm resting my pinky on the middle finger of my opposite hand. This way, if for some reason the client moves, I'm in control of my e-file at all times. As I said, if you are not comfortable using an e-file, just use a hand file for any of this prep. When I'm filing with my sanding band around the cuticle area, I use a very light touch, medium to low speed, and I barely skim over the surface of the nail. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever. I think a lot of people make the mistake, if it's taking a long time to remove the product or shape it, they're afraid of the speed, and what they'll do is they'll go at lower speed and put more pressure on the nail. And this is what actually will cause more discomfort to the client, the friction caused by the pressure. So you want to always, like I said, balance your hand and just barely skim over the surface to shape the nail. The gel files very, very easily, so you want to be careful not to remove too much product. Check the shape of your nail. Be aware of where you're filing at all times. And just lightly skim over the surface to give the shape of the nail. As you're filing, move the finger around for easy access to the entire nail. And always look from both sides. Turn the finger and tilt your head from one side to the other so that you can see every angle to be sure you're getting the correct shape. You want to file the entire nail thin enough that when you put your layer of gel that you're filling the nails with, and then your 2 or 3 layers of color plus your top glass, you'll be bringing that nail back out to the original shape that you had, necessary for the proper structure to maintain the nails. Keep a gentle grip on your e-file also. If you hold your e-file too tight, you tend to put more pressure on the nail as you're filing. So keep your hand relaxed, use a very light touch, and just always be cautious. For this modified stiletto shape, I always file the nails to an extreme point, almost like an arrowhead at the tip. After you've removed all the color and shaped all the nails, go in with a cuticle skiver bit and just prep the cuticle area to be sure there's no dead tissue on the nail. Always use the cuticle skiver with a light touch at a medium to low speed, and use it very cautiously. The rounded edge of this bit will remove any dead skin and exfoliate the cuticle area. I book most of my clients every 45 minutes. If a client wants a more complicated design, they would have to book extra time and be charged accordingly. So in most cases, my prep time for both hands is anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes maximum, depending on the service. This leaves me 30 minutes to complete the nails in a Simply design. Cleanse the nail of any remaining dust, oils, and bacteria with Akzentz Prep and Wipe. Then apply a Fix-It protein-based acid-free primer to the nails and let dry for about 1 minute. A Fix-It does not need to be applied to the entire existing gel nail. Just be sure to apply it to any natural nail growth around the cuticle area. Another time-saving factor is my dust removal system. Many people ask me about it when watching my videos. I have a central vacuum system installed in my salon, so each of the 5 nail stations have a dust removal port, which the technicians can plug their e-file attachment into. This sucks up almost all of the dust immediately as it's filed off the nail. It keeps the work area free of dust and makes for a really quick cleanup in between clients. But most importantly, it eliminates the danger of inhaling the fine dust created when filing gel nails. I always recommend any nail techs to be sure you have some kind of dust removal system because it's very dangerous to inhale this dust. Your next step, you're going to apply a thin layer of Akzentz bonding gel to all 5 nails. Akzentz Classic UV line of gel is only UV compatible. It is not LED compatible. So be sure you have a minimum 9 watt, preferably a full hand 36 watt UV light to cure. After you've cured the bonding gel for 2 minutes, you're going to apply a thin layer of your fill-in gel. I prefer using Natural Coverage Cool Pink for the majority of my clients. It is a medium viscosity gel that self-levels very easily, yet does not run into the cuticles. This allows you to apply the gel to all 5 nails at once without worrying about flash curing. This gel is what I use most in my salon, on all of my clients. I find it holds up amazingly on clients, day-to-day wear and tear. It's very easy to apply. Apply a thin layer from the cuticle area, filling in any regrowth all the way down to the free edge to balance out the nail. And for this modified stiletto shape, be sure to cap the free edge of the nail. You may have noticed earlier when I was filing the nails that I filed them to an extreme point, almost like an arrowhead. By capping the edges at this step, it will slightly round out the nail, giving you the perfect modified stiletto shape every time. I am very proficient at using this gel, therefore 99% of the time I do not finish file my clients in the salon when I'm doing the fill. This saves me a lot of time, but it's also come with a lot of practice. So if you're new to gels and your finish is not smooth enough, after curing for 2 minutes, remove the inhibition layer and shape and file the nails to the desired shape. It really doesn't take long to shape and file the nails, so don't be afraid to pause in your application and shape them, because you always want your finished product to look amazing. Also notice the angle of my brush, and if you notice, I'm not pressing down, I'm barely gliding down the nail in the shape of the nail. You can notice if you look at my bristles, you can see that they're barely moving. So I'm just skimming over the surface of the nail, guiding this gel down the nail, and just gently guiding it down the edges of the nail to cap the edges. Always move the nails around in the line of light to make sure that you have no dips. If you see any spots before you cure them, you can go back in and touch it up. Cure for 2 minutes in a UV light. Once again, this gel is not compatible in an LED light, so do not cure in an LED light. Next, I'm going to begin my polish and my design. Because I did not finish file, I'll apply my Luxio color directly onto the inhibition layer of the Natural Coverage Cool Pink after it's been cured. If you choose to finish file, then you're going to apply a thin layer of Luxio base first and cure it before going in and applying your color. For this set of nails, I chose a design on just 3 of the nails. This seems to be the trend lately with Pinterest and Instagram photos. Many clients come in with requests such as this. To save time, consult with your client prior to the fill so that you can plan the color and you'll know how to execute your design ahead of time. If you notice, I'm applying my Luxio colors very thin. I usually cover the entire cuticle area carefully, and then I bring the color down the entire nail. Do not fuss with the first layer. Even if it is not even, it's best to apply it in 2 to 3 layers for a more even cure. Whatever you don't get on the first layer, you'll cover nicely with the second layer. The Luxio gel is UV and LED compatible. However, because I'm applying the Luxio directly over a classic UV inhibition layer, I must first cure this first coat of gel in the UV light to be sure that that uncured inhibition layer in between the color and the pink cures properly. Once the first layer is cured, then you may switch over to an LED light for the remainder of the design if you choose. In my salon, I use my LED light as much as possible. This saves me time, and it also saves many hours of life on my UV bulbs. So after you've applied the second layer of color to each of the nails, you may switch over to an LED light for the remainder of the service. Apply a third coat if necessary, curing in between each coat. The third coat you can apply really quickly. You don't even have to apply it to the entire nail, only if you see any shadows or spots that you may have missed. To prepare for my design, I often use the little circle sticker from the center of my roll of forms. I place it close to where I'm going to hold my client's nails to make it easier to dip into my paint for hand-painted designs. You may also use a small tile or a palette, whatever you prefer. I find this is easiest for me, because when I'm finished, I can just throw away the entire table towel with no mess to clean up afterwards. Place dots of whatever gel colors you're going to use for your design. A stylus or dotting tool makes it very easy to create a multitude of designs. For this nail, I'm going to place 2 rows of medium-sized dots in the shape of a cross. Then I'll go in with a smaller stylus to add more details. You can use your imagination. There are so many different looks you can create. The Luxio gel is really nice to create designs such as this with the stylus. I prefer the Luxio because it's not sticky as compared to the options gels. It's very easy to use dots to paint on. It doesn't run, it stays where you put it. Notice the placement of my paint. The little sticker is placed right below the hand that I'm working on to make it very easy. Saves a few minutes when you're doing a design, having it so close to where you're painting. For the middle fingernail, which will have a matte gloss look, I'm going to apply a third coat of black gel and cure it. The Luxio gel does not have a built-in shine, therefore once it is cured, if you remove the inhibition layer, you will have a perfectly matte nail. It's a very simple and easy way to create any matte gloss design. For the wet drop look, just use a stylus and place multiple different size dots of shine-on gel. Alternatively, you could also do a zebra print, cheetah, swirls, or you could just do the shine-on the tip of the nail for a matte gloss French look. I start off with big dots and then I flip my stylus around and use the tinier side to do some smaller dots. When you're finished, flash cure for about 20 seconds. For the last nail design, I'm going to create a houndstooth pattern. With a small liner brush dipped into your Luxio Noir paint, you're going to paint 3 rows of small black squares. Now this is a simple salon style design, so I'm just doing it very quickly to show you, something I would do in the salon. It's a pattern, so as long as you make everything even and follow the same pattern all the way through for the entire nail, it'll look good. So once you've finished with the little small black squares, you're going to paint 2 small lines coming down diagonally from the top left corner and the bottom right corner of your square. Once you've finished with all your little diagonal lines, you're going to create a small V at the top right corner of each of the squares. And when you are finished, cure it for 30 seconds in your LED light. Once I'm happy with all of the designs, I will finish off with a layer of Akzentz new Shine On. Shine On is our new no wipe top gloss. It is UV or LED compatible, curing for 2 minutes in a UV lamp or 30 seconds in an LED lamp. Apply a thin layer to the entire nail and cap your free edge. Unlike many tackless sealers, the shine-on is very flexible so you won't get any shattering or cracking. Once you've finished curing, there's no need to wipe off, there's no tacky layer. Just file your free edge if necessary, apply cuticle oil, and you're finished.